Carolina Panthers rookie minicamp is in the books, and we are here to break down everything that we've heard and get you prepared for OTAs. Let's go.
For the ultimate Carolina Panthers experience. Welcome to Two Growls, One Roar, the podcast that hits harder than a Luke Kuechly tackle. We're diving deep into the heart of Panther Nation, bringing you unrivaled passion, insider takes, and pure gridiron fire. From Wilmington to the cosmos, this is your home for the fiercest football talk east or west of Charlotte.
Welcome in, folks, to another edition of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. It is Saturday, May 10th as I record this. Happy birthday to our oldest Nolan. Love to do birthday shout-outs. Get used to it. So, yeah, and if you want your birthday shout-out, so be it. Also, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I highly recommend if your mom is still around, just reach out to her. That's all I'll say. You guys know I lost my mom. I think it's been 3 years. Tough time, but every day gets better. And me doing this show, she was a big Panthers fan, so I get to kind of live on through her as we create Panthers content. But welcome in, folks. We got a lot to digest. We're going to get into everything that we heard, a few bits that we saw through some social media clips to the folks, of course, that are there reporting on the ground, break all that down for day one and day two. So we've got a jam-packed episode. We're also going to talk about like what's coming next. And quite a few guys were there. So remember, you have your undrafted free agents. You have your, of course, rookies that were drafted, some tryout players. It's a big list, I think 42-ish. We're going to go through, not break down each one of those, but I'm going to let you know who was there. And then, of course, we'll get into the highlights. Also, I do have a few highlights to actually put up here. So towards the end, we can look at some of the clips that we saw from the Panthers social team. Much appreciated for them putting that out. All right, here we go, folks. Important dates. We're going to keep this a thing until we get into the summer. Rookie minicamp in the books, 9th through 10th. Done. Next up is OTAs, May 27th through the 28th, May 30th, June 2nd through the 3rd, and June 5th. So right around the corner. We know rookies, of course, just came in, getting acclimated. They'll be with the team next week, starting to ramp up in those voluntary workouts. Then we get into OTAs, as mentioned. And finally, mandatory minicamp. Now, I expect the Panthers, considering the news that we had with Jadeveon Clowney, to be pretty active. Still some holes and gaps to fill in this team as we get ready for training camp, which is to come. So the roster is going to fluctuate just a little bit. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit different for those that follow the show, or at least have followed it recently. You guys know I love to put up the graphics, walk you through what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of information to unpack, and so I'm not going to be able to do that today in order to get this out as quickly as I need to get it out. Timing is everything. We want to be able to be one of the first that gets this stuff out that's accurate. So we're going to do that. Also, at the end, we are going to spend some time talking about Jadeveon Clowney, because I think it's important to understand. He talked to The Athletic, Joe Person. We got a little bit of insight into why he left, and I think it's important to spend a little time there, just like, hey, was this something we expected, he expected, his agent expected? So we'll break that down at the very end. But let's get right into it. Told you, we're not going to do graphics, but we do have one graphic because, you know, all eyes are on Tetairoa McMillan T-Mac. That is probably one of the bigger storylines, although when we get into this in just a minute, it sounds like Jimmy Horn Jr. also made quite the impression. And, of course, we have Moose Muhammad. We got so many names, so many guys. It's a busy time, folks. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, before we actually get too far into this, what we're going to do is, one, tell you the guys that have signed as of right now, reported by Panthers.com, in the team, so we know exactly who is left. It's only two guys. So your rookie contracts: Tetairoa McMillan, Princely Umanmielen, Lathan Ransom, Cam Jackson, Mitchell Evans, and Jimmy Horn Jr. So that just leaves Etienne and Scorton as your two rookies that have not signed. We knew there were going to be a bunch of corresponding moves for the Panthers to make room. We already broke that down in another episode. I guess it was Thursday or Friday. Hard to remember. These things run together. But you also have 19 undrafted rookies which we can read. So these guys were the ones that were signed as of now. Travis Broughton, who's a center. Ryan Fitzgerald, kicker. Ethan Garbers, who was your only quarterback there. Jacoby George, Isaac Gifford. Jared Harrison Hunt, Jack Henderson, Kobe Hudson, Luke Condra, Stephen Loisoya, Kayron Lynch Adams, Bam Martin Scott, Moose Muhammad III, Tuasivi Nomura, Bryce Pierre, Michael Reed, Michael Tarkin, Trevion Thomas, and Corey Thornton. It is kind of an eye-opener that they brought in 3 centers and they let go of Andrew Rame, who was a center. So I find that a little bit intriguing. Then they let go of outside linebacker in addition to that on the 9th, Kenny Dyson. All right, folks, let's talk about everyone that was here, and it was quite a few folks outside of the list that we have. Again, no graphics for this, but let's get you the full list. So, of course, we know our draft class: Tetairoa McMillan, Nick Scorton, Princely, Uman Mielen, Trevor Etienne, Lathan Ransom, Cam Jackson, Mitchell Evans, Jimmy Horn Jr. We went through the entire list of undrafted free agents, so we already got those covered. We did have a few tryout players, as well as which are rookie tryouts, and then tryout veterans, so guys trying to make the cut that have been here, done that. Your tryouts for your college guys: Miles Cross, wide receiver out of Indiana. Man, Ike Ekwonu's brother, and unfortunately, I'm probably not going to get his name right, so we'll just say Ike Ekwonu's brother, which is a really cool story. You talk about all the family ties that we've seen. Abe Kamara, Graham Walker, Kefe Owa, Penny Boone, Jaron Joseph, Savon Rea, Jamia Thomas, Sylvain Yadikin, Kydron Jenkins, and those were your rookies. And now your veterans: AJ Moore, Keon Crossan, and Brady Breeze. So 2 safeties and a cornerback. A lot of defensive players, lots of safety help, which tells me if the Panthers do not land on a safety via free agency, because they still need some depth, that I think they're hoping that maybe they find one out of the group that's coming in here. You got to at least have 5. We've seen them carry up to 6. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. Now, the first day was headlined, of course, by offense. That was probably the bigger thing, and why not? That's some of your bigger names and your number 8 overall pick, your first-round selection. Tetairoa McMillan, the number 8 overall pick, quickly began to validate the Panthers' investment. He was described as shining and smooth in his practice debut. The immediate visual appeal was backed by his tangible skills. So veteran wide receiver Adam Thielen lauded some of his body control, a trait critical for success in the NFL. We know that. Being able to pluck the ball out of the air, the 50-50 balls. And again, these were things leading up into camp, but being able to see it for ourselves, it's nice, man. And I know we only got to see bits and pieces. We're going to look at a few highlights. Outside of his, of course, physical gifts, one of the things that was strongly noted was his professional approach. Spending time working directly one-on-one with wide receivers coach Rob Moore, being coachable. That's one of the things that, of course, we've heard a lot about, that he's not coachable, that he quits, that he's all these things. And I said Todd McShay is shaking in his boots that he's out there being coached up. That was good. You saw him doing one-on-one drills, hand fighting. I mean, the dude is a worker. Head coach Dave Canales remarked he looks smooth, easy to throw to, just like we thought. You can see where the route craft, that it's just a guy that works on his craft and comes in and ready to go. So we're really excited about that. McMillan also acknowledged the importance of coaching. He said, shoot, I mean, it's incredible. Even the best world. He said, shoot, I mean, it's incredible. Even the best in the world need to get coaching. I feel like Coach Moore is going to really turn me from good to great. I love that, from good to great. He also humorously noted the adjustment to the regional climate. He said, it's humid out here. I've got to get used to that for sure. Remember, coming over from Cali, Hawaii, big changes, Arizona, where he was, the humidity is a monster, which I think we all know that. But some of the route running, man, even the adjustments he made, and it's early. It's very early. We're trying not to get too exaggerated, too hyped. But it seemed like, okay, yes, Panthers got someone. They got a really good player in Tetairoa McMillan. We can't wait to see what that investment looks like. Speaking of investment, if you've not watched the series, we did a video, and this is really for the folks on YouTube because we did not post this on the podcast channels. So I guess if you're listening to this and you don't follow me on YouTube, put together a nice video breaking down the last 15 years of wide receivers drafted in the top 10 and the impact that they had. So all that to say, I think the Panthers are in good shape. Now, he was not the only wide receiver that was making headlines. Jimmy Horn Jr., the 6th-round selection, he was bringing some excitement. We know coming into this, he's got the speed. He really does. And we talk about him clocking the fastest gauntlet time, smooth, quick. There's opportunity to use him as a punt returner, possibly as a kick returner. I mean, the dude can do it. And I don't know, Mike K specifically tweeted out when this stuff was going on that like he could not post a video during this time because they weren't able to record. Panthers did. He said he was fast, and we got to see that. And you look at this tandem, I think you do have a future star in the making, and it's hard to imagine a 6th-round selection could have that much impact. But you think about his speed, his potential in the special teams game, his short yardage situation, RPO, getting him in the backfield, getting him on jet sweeps, the speed that the Panthers haven't had. I am not here to claim that we got another Tyreek Hill or a Tyreek Hill or anything close to that, but we have not seen a player with this speed here in quite a while, and he has shown it. Brad Idzik commented, all that heart you put on tape, you just bring it, you'll lead from day one, just be yourself. He did express enthusiasm for being a Panther. He said, the crazy thing is, this is where I really wanted to be. I'm not in a rush. I want to learn and soak up as much as I can. So when I get out there, I can play at the best of my ability. I agree. He was post-practice working on the jugs machine day one. This guy is motivated. He wants to be here. Lots of high praise. And I'm excited about him. I really am. I don't know. We're talking about roster construction, how many receivers we're going to keep. Is it 6? Is it 7? Either way, I think there's going to be a spot for him. And that's not even talking through some of the other guys down the list with Moose Muhammad III or Jacoby George, who have been said to have pretty decent days as well. Ethan Gabers, not going to spend too much time on him. He was your only quarterback here. Remember, you get into these rookie camps, you got to have an arm. So, Panthers able to carry 4 quarterbacks going into camp, at least for right now. We'll see if that changes. But he looked decent. I saw Mike K tweet as well about him, and folks, you should follow if you don't. Mike K, that is, he had really good things to say about him. And there's only so much you're going to really be able to analyze, but good to know you got that additional arm. Some additional quick notes from what we heard. Mitchell Evans made his debut as well. We're excited about Mitch. He's a fantastic athlete. That was from Coach Canales. Trevor Etienne, right now wearing number 33, was observed taking punts. So again, you talk about special teams. We've said he's likely going to make it as a special teams player if he makes the final 53, which you would assume that the battle between him and Raheem Blackshear is going to heat up as we get into this. Another decision to make of whether or not you're going to carry 3 or 4 running backs. And then probably one of the cooler stories is undrafted free agent Moose Muhammad III out of Texas A&M. He experienced and said it was a full circle moment playing for his father's former team in his hometown of Charlotte. He did display a mature perspective on handling the pressure, setting the pressure for me is a privilege. It either busts pipes or makes diamonds. Also spoke about the invaluable lessons learned from his father. Of course, oh man, this is what he said. Oh man, all the tidbits of playing ball, looking the ball to the top, just the little things, but overall just being a good teammate. This narrative combined with his professionalism, it was nice. It was nice to see, and he did get to have a little bit of his moment. I don't know if he makes it. Well, maybe he's a practice squad guy, but I think everybody in Carolina is rooting for him. Outside of that, on the offensive side of the ball, Luke Hondra, the guard out of Cincinnati, Stephen Loizoya, and Michael Tarkin also had some additional one-on-one coaching. We talked about Jacoby George. He was also working on the jugs machines after practice as well. Day 2, and again, we didn't really talk about the defense so much on day 1. There were highlights from the defensive side of the ball, but again, there's only so much you're going to see. This is very offensive focused. The offensive rookies on day 2, Jimmy Horn Jr. continues to be visible. When we talk about these guys, I even think with Jimmy Horn Jr., we're already seeing him build that relationship with Tetairoa McMillan. We saw them celebrating. The team put out the social clips of those guys. But he continues to look smooth and fast. And again, getting the value of what we were getting with him in the 6th round, can't deny it. So we got to talk a little defense because we did brush over that. Most significant news, of course, coming with the announcement that Jadeveon Clowney was released. And so now we know our attention's turning to Nick Scorton and Princely Umanmielen. I mean, it was said that they were trying to get volume of reps and learning as they go. Like, that was the main emphasis for those two guys. And again, we're going to talk about Clowney at the very end a little bit more. But this is now the future of your edge room in Carolina. And seeing both of these guys potentially hit would be perfect. The question is going to be, is it DJ Wonnum and Patrick Jones, or do we see Nick Scorton or Princely Umanmielen potentially getting the nod? And DJ Johnson's still in the mix as of now. I didn't hear too much about Cam Jackson. Again, it's very early on, but we did see Lathan Ransom moving around in a few of the highlights that they posted. I think we'll get to see a little bit more of him in the defense and these guys as we actually get into OTAs, start seeing some of the reports that come through, how he fits in, getting in with the other guys. Of course, once we get into the contact, but that's going to be a little bit later, just understanding what they're going to look like. Another notable piece in the realm of the guys that we're trying out, again, Keon Crossan, AJ Moore, and Brady Breeze, they have a connection to special teams coordinator Tracy Smith. So going back to their time in Houston, they were all together during their time there. Overall, head coach Dave Canales on the assessment conveyed a strong sense of optimism, particularly regarding the offensive rookies. His statement, he said, I'll go play with this group right now. This dude's ready, man. And that should tell you how much further along this team is this year compared to last year. He said it looks really smooth. I'm sure that things will pop up, but right now everything looks good. He emphasized the camp's foundational purpose this weekend is about introducing them to the workflow, the field, the tempo, the energy, and then in the classroom, just getting up to speed and ready to learn. Now, as we close this out, we are going to look at a few clips in just a minute of some of the highlights from camp. But before we do that, I thought we should spend a little bit of time talking about Jadeveon Clowney and his exit. So he spoke to Joe Person of The Athletic, and this was his stance. He says, talking about what's next, I'm definitely going to play well. You can mark my word on that. I don't care where I end up playing. I'm going to play extremely well. So it's an understanding here that Clowney seems to be, Clowney signed a 2-year contract that he likely was planning to play this year. I know some folks brought up, was he at OTAs as you're trying to build this culture? Was he around? I know in years past, as he's bounced from team to team to team, he's been a late signing in most situations, skipping through all of these phases and just really showing up to training camp, which I don't blame him. That's what you're a veteran. You get to that point, and that's what happens. It seems like he's still got a little more left in the tank, and I know his agent also responded saying that it was less than ideal situation for them to let him go right now, like just letting him up and leave. He would have much rather preferred that this happen earlier in March, of course, like when free agency was booming. But I don't think the Panthers knew that they were going to be able to draft 2 edge players, that they would bring in another through free agency, and or that they would get the 2 edge players that they want. Like if they knew all those things, of course, sure. I think they would have loved to give Clowney a head start to go out and find a team, but I think he's going to be more than fine. Probably go with the contender, get into a rotation. And at his age, we even questioned what his role was going to be here in Carolina. Were we going to see him start? We're going to see him in a rotation. Did that even make sense? when you have this young group of guys now, you want to see them kind of take the reins and lead. But Dave Canales had really good things to say about Jadeveon Clowney, and I think everyone here wishes him the best. Closing out today's episode, we are going to take a look at some of the clips from camp, courtesy, of course, the one and only Panthers Social. Right out of the gate, getting to see your new edge prospects getting the work. Nick Scorton, Princely Umanmielen. Again, these are super small clips. We're getting to see it. Here's Tetairoa McMillan running the out. Slow motion. I think a lot of people have called this out. I'll play that again. Just his focus. Catching with his hands, high pointing the ball. I mean, it's not really a high point there, but extending his hands out. He's looked smooth, man. He's looked every bit of the part. This is Jimmy Horn Jr. flying. I either thought this was a design like a run or a sweep or a punt return because you can see leading. I mean, you only see it for a second. I can't slow it down here. But there's a tight end out in front of him on this play. So it seems like some kind of run design getting him the ball. I wouldn't be surprised again if that's where the Panthers are leaning. And like we said, Tetairoa McMillan, Jimmy Horn Jr. hitting it off. Panthers Social, of course, letting us all see the fun that goes with this. As always, folks, this is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.